So, the big question is, what are you trying to accomplish? How are you showing up for those people around you? Are you trying to become a better mom, wife, sister, friend, neighbor, teacher? Wherever you are on your journey right now, there's always room for improvement. I recently learned that we should be lifelong learners, always learning something, always reading something, always trying something new. Where are you? How can I help? Hopefully, this channel will help you find some of your answers. I am Tamaya, and welcome to Maya's Minute. So, today I'm just going to share a little bit about my first year teaching. So, I know that, we hear all the glamorous stories about, how great we're doing now and how long I've been doing it. I'm going into year 18, I believe now. So, it's been a while, and I got the hang of it now. Of course, I can do it like, I won't say with my eyes closed, but yeah, I can pretty much do it pretty effectively now. But when I first started, it was rough. So first of all, I had no experience. Like, I did not come from a teaching background. I did not I did not go to school for education. Like, I know when you go to school for education, that's a part of the requirement. Like, you have to do so many hours in the classroom, get that experience and stuff like that. But I did not come from a teaching background. So, yeah, so that experience did not happen for me. So, like, day one of that school year was like literally my first interaction, like being in charge of a group of children, and it was quite terrifying to say the least. But it was a scary thing, and I struggled. Like, I did not have any help. I didn't have any guidance. I did not have like any systems in place. I didn't have like classroom management. Like, I was literally like, have you ever heard the term building it as we fly? Like, I was building it as I was flying. Like, I was figuring it out as I was going, day by day, week by week. I was just figuring out what worked, what didn't work, and yeah, I was just struggling through the year. I can't think of a better word to use other than struggling, because I was literally struggling. Um, with that first year teaching, I ended up getting pregnant with my second son. So I ended up having to take leave because, yeah, my blood pressure was too high. I wonder why. But yeah, so around, I think, April or so of that year, I ended up having to take a leave because, yeah, I wasn't doing well according to my doctor. So yeah, so the next year, which would be my second year teaching, I returned, but I did not return as soon as school started, because I had him in July and school started in August, and I cannot go back to work with my baby being 1 month old. So I stayed out for a bit. I actually returned around, I want to say, November. So they were, well into the school year. And the principal at the time allowed the other two teachers, I was teaching fourth grade at this time, the principal allowed the other two teachers to handpick and choose the students that they were going to give me to be in my class. Yeah, so those of you who are teachers, you know what that means. Absolutely. They picked the worst ones they had, the ones that they did not want to deal with, the ones that they did not want to be bothered with. They were like, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. So yeah, so that group of kids that I got that year was probably a little worse than the group I had the first year, because the first year I had a rough bunch. But of course, I had no idea. I was new. But one of the teachers, no, she was not a teacher. She was another position in school. But I remember her saying to me, like, like, they gave you the worst kids, type of thing. And when I returned, of course, they were able to handpick who they gave me. So of course, I had the worst ones again. And I remember her saying to me, like, dude, I can't believe you came back. And like, that's how bad it was. Like, she was like, I can't believe you came back. And I, it was, it was rough. Like, I remember being like in my mind, like, God, I want to quit. Like, I did not want to go every day. Like, I was fighting within myself. Like, I did not want to go. But at the time, I had just bought my house. So guess what? I had a mortgage. Like, I wasn't living with my parents anymore. So the option of quitting, like, it wasn't an option for me at that time because I had just gotten a house. I had to, yeah, I had a mortgage I was responsible for, amongst other things, like the whole running of a household. So, yeah, I had to, I had to stay there and stick it out and learn what I had to learn. And that year, actually, the second year, we ended up getting a new assistant principal. So she would come by and she would come through and, you know, she would talk to me and ask me, why are they doing this? Or, you know, why are they doing that? And um, I took it probably, you know, being young and, you know, silly. I took it kind of like maybe offensively, like, you know, but what she was doing is she was actually trying to help me. Like, she wouldn't only ask me questions, but she actually would give me ideas and give me activities of strategies. Okay, why don't you try this? Or why don't you try this with that? So she was actually, it was her way of helping it, but I couldn't see it at the time. But of course now we're, you know, we still talk to this day right now. Like, we're still good with each other. So she was trying to help me out in my young silly years. I just couldn't see it at the time. But the next year, I ended up getting moved to a different grade because I was in fourth grade. The next 2 years, I moved to second grade, and the teacher next to me, we shared a, like, we had like big pods. So, um, I had we had second grade. I would teach the reading, and she would do the math. That's kind of, I think that's how it went. So that group of children was like, I remember days where we would meet in the middle, like of the middle of the room, like where the partition was. We would meet in the middle and look at each other like, are we being punked? Like, it was crazy. Like, we had some kids in there that were like, hmm. I remember one in particular, like, there would be some days where we would call his parent, like, his dad would come to the school, take him out, like, beat his, and he would come back, and after his parents were gone, guess what? He was still like start acting up and saying stuff and starting stuff in the classroom. Like, it was a serious group of kids. We had one that he I never forget. He was with the other teacher that was across from me at the time, but he took a tack. You know, the little tacks that teachers use to put stuff in the pen papers up to the board. He took a tack and put it in somebody's seat for them to sit on. This is second grade. I'm just telling you because I want you to have an idea of what we were dealing with. Like, I'm not just saying it was crazy. He took a tack and put it on a chair for somebody to sit on. It's like, who does that? Like, that's a little evil to me. In my mind, like, that's just mean, but that's just me giving you a little taste of of like what we were dealing with that year. But it was it was quite interesting to say the least. But yeah, that was 2 years there. And then after that is when I got moved into kindergarten, and I was like, what am I gonna do with these little people? But here I am 18 years later, and I'm still teaching. So that means something happened, right? That means I figured something out. That means I sought help. That means that I had to learn some things. I had to go through that learning curve. I had to go through being bad at it long enough to get good at it. So that's the whole point of this message today. What are you doing that you're feeling like, oh, I'm not good at it, or man, I want it to be this, or it should be better. If it's something that you're just starting at, most people, don't start at something being great. It takes time to master it. Now, some people just have that gift. I can't speak for everybody. Some people just have that gift. But for me, I had to be bad at it for a while, long enough, to before I learned to how to become good at it. And that's just what it took. It took years. It took years, and it took me trying things. It took me figuring things out, testing things, and doing things, and that's what it took. And I got better. So, hope you found some encouragement in this today. Whatever it is you're working on, stay bad at it long enough until you get good. All right? So, hit the like button for me, and I'll see you next time.